Okay, let me get my ducks in a row because I got a lot to share. I got slides, I got web browsers. I'm going to take you right into an AI tool, and we're going to go live in there. So we're going to talk about creating PowerPoint decks. And in particular, I'm going to walk you through and show you one today. But I just want to give you a quick heads up that before we get started, AI is here to stay, right? It's not the future, it's now. It's not coming, it's here. Every one of us should be proficient. Agencies are proficient at it, they're trying to become proficient at it. And all of us in the industry, we should become proficient at it. There's multiple things you can do. And today I'm talking about PowerPoint decks. So presentations you might want to deliver, capability briefing decks. So just around your business, when you're going in and just briefing to large primes or other small businesses or agency buyers, you have a capabilities briefing deck telling them what you do and maybe how you can help. And then evergreen webinar slides are another one that's a great one. At some point, I'm going to teach you just about evergreen webinars. The whole point of it is basically I'm doing a webinar right now with you. It's 30 minutes. I could stretch this out to an hour. Right now it's live. If I record it and put it somewhere, then it's called an on-demand webinar. And evergreen just means it's useful year after year after year. So if I did a webinar on how to search using Google, that's an evergreen webinar. It lasts forever. Well, AI can build a lot of these different decks, and webinars is just one. So today's training, we're going to be going through three main things I want to cover. This is my measurement of success to you. The first thing I want to cover is, and actually, somebody let me know if you can see my screen. There you go. Okay. Sorry, just couldn't see it. So today I want to cover three main things. I want to talk to you about the deck. I want to show you this ChatGPT or AI assisted deck that I built. I want to then walk you through the prompts I used with this AI tool, ChatGPT, to create the content that I created. But then I also made it look presentable, right? And so I want to show you how I did that in PowerPoint, combining what ChatGPT did or the AI tool did and with what I already have in PowerPoint. So let me go ahead and switch. I don't think I have anything else on here. Oh, in case you don't know who I am, my name is Neil McDonnell. All right. I'm the president of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to my federal sales training, where I provide tips for success in the federal market. I spent 20 years as a small business owner in the federal market. And since 2018, I've been teaching people like you that government contracting is not a secret. It's just a process. Process is A to Z. When you follow a process, you have repeatable, predictable results. And that's what I want for you. If you haven't done this already, put your company name into the chat. Put 2 or 3 keywords in there that just tell us what you sell so that we know who you are. And then I wanted to say thank you while you're doing that to the sustaining members of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Sustaining members are the ones who make this possible. We're a self-funded organization. We don't currently take money from large primes or from the government. We take it through the generosity of the sustaining members, people like you and people like me, right? And so I wanted to say thank you on behalf of all the small businesses and all the people in the industry and government who learn from what the GovCon Chamber puts out. So thank you to the sustaining members. I wanted to just let you know that today is Monday, the 22nd of May, and this is the first of a 5-part series, separate parts. So any one of them can be watched separately and they can be watched out of order on using AI in the federal space. In particular, I'm targeting small businesses and how you can use it, but this is useful, frankly, to anybody out there on how to use ChatGPT. And then all of this content comes from a broader masterclass that I have on AI. So it's an AI masterclass for government contracting. And what's in here is solid. So you're going to get out of this completely tactical steps, but this is just part of a bigger activity that I'm doing. So, okay, so that was my closing slide. I'll come back to that later. It's usually super secret. Okay, let's get started into the first thing I want to show you is the slide deck that I created for creating a deck with ChatGPT. I thought there was no better way for me to show you how to build a PowerPoint deck using AI than to create a deck about building a PowerPoint deck, right? And so I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long, long time. I've been doing PowerPoint since before PowerPoint came out, and it was Harvard graphics for the people who are just way too old like me. But PowerPoint decks, so these decks have been around for a long time. So I know how to do it, but I wanted to get the feedback from ChatGPT. So the first thing I wanted to just help you understand today in our topic, we're going into AI. We want to understand what ChatGPT is. And you can see here, it's a smart computer program. It helps you write things that sound like a human is saying it, right? You can use it, obviously, to make PowerPoint slides. And I don't want to read all these bullets because there's people out there, but I worked with ChatGPT and it helped me create this slide. And then I talked with ChatGPT and I said, well, what do I say about why use ChatGPT for presentations? And I really like this, right? Because it helps me write awesome text, which it did. And I'm going to show you how it wrote it and how we worked together to create the text you're looking at. It saves time because it did it in seconds, not hours. I liked right here, right? It makes the presentation more interesting. Interesting in this sense that how do I bring somebody into the presentation so they want to follow along to the next slide? And then definitely ChatGPT can give me a lot of ideas on my presentation, how to make it more effective. When I'm telling it who my audience is, it can talk to that. So planning out a PowerPoint deck is really important. And using AI, it can help me organize my ideas. I can then structure that content in the way I want to deliver the message. And then obviously, as I build my slides, I can reorder them, but I can do them through AI first, just in content before I even get into PowerPoint. And then through this exercise of getting ChatGPT to give me some ideas, it can define those topics that I want to talk about or that might fit in. I might be able to tell it, hey, I want to talk about these 3 things, but what else should I talk about, right? And so it's helping me define the topics and then give me a smooth flow as I go through the slides. And by the way, this deck I'm showing you, I'm going through really fast because I want to get to the tool and show you how I did it. I don't want to just stay on this slide deck. So then how do I use the slide deck? I asked ChatGPT and it gave me these 5 steps, right? Pick a topic for your slides and then type in the prompt that'll ask ChatGPT to give me some feedback. I read what it wrote, I refine it and ask it questions in order to get it to make it better. And then I use this content and you'll see how I did it. I bring it over into PowerPoint in raw format, meaning just text, before I make it look good like this. And then the last thing is if I need to talk with ChatGPT, I can do that. So then the next step it's telling me for making this deck better, making the content better, et cetera, is I can read what it wrote and see if it makes sense. And I did this and I want to go in and I'll show you what volume it gave me and how I refined it, which is number 2, right? I refined it when I saw things. I'm like, that's too confusing. Let me refine it. So then as I'm going through ChatGPT or an AI tool, any tool of your choice, right? I want to make sure everything is flowing, it's fitting together. For example, one of the things it suggested to me, I was like, you know what, that's too complicated. I don't want to talk about that. And then I can add my own ideas, which I did in certain points. And then the last thing is I can ask a colleague to give me feedback. In fact, right here, number 5 is an example of me refining it. When ChatGPT told me what I should write there for the 5th bullet, it said, ask a friend or your parents. And part of the reason it did that is because I told it to write at a grammar school level, and you'll see how I did this, but I said, write it at a young, so anybody could understand it. So it said, talk to a friend and a parent. And I said, well, let me change that to colleague, right? In step number 5. So then it talks about the next step in creating a good PowerPoint is get in there and start doing pictures. So adding some pictures, some visuals on why it will be necessary. Sometimes you've heard that line about tell 1,000 words with one picture. But visuals help people understand better. We know this in proposals, and it certainly is the same thing in decks. And then you can see like these images I use. Look here, visuals make your presentation more interesting. So I'm using this little person kind of like they're presenting. People can see better, see that icon, right? I'm using an eyeball. And then I'm using a bar graph to show that I can illustrate points or data more clearly. And then it's AI tool is telling me, hey, make sure you find images that relate to the topic. And so basically it's saying going off and look for camera images there. When I said I put content in, this is what it looks like. It comes in, it's just raw. And in fact, this is actually less raw because it has color in here and it's got spacing that makes it look nicer. But basically, this is what I pulled out of ChatGPT and bring it over, right? So here it's saying to make your presentations look great, use the same fonts and colors throughout your slide. That's what I'm doing, right? Leave spaces. See how I've got these spaces between the lines? It's not an extra bullet. I just gave it some spacing. Make sure everything looks good and flows. Use the heading and points that organize it. So these headings that you see as I flow through, they make sense. In fact, if I had spent more time on this deck, I would have made it look like this one where I had the agenda on the left so you could follow through. I just didn't have time to do that. And then the last one is just be creative, be you, which this blue I loved. I was like, hey, blue shirt, blue eyes, blue header, right? So it's worth good. Here it's talking about finalizing my presentation. So you've got it in, you've prepared you've got the content from ChatGPT, you put it into PowerPoint, and here it's telling you check for spelling, grammars, and mistakes. Just change how things look, format it to give it or excuse me, this one is saving it in the right file format. So if you want to save it as a PDF and share that instead of a PowerPoint file, and then practice this, right? Make sure it's flowing. And then the last one is make sure that the presentation's ready to be shared or presented. And I modified some of those words from what it said, but I looked at that and I said, that's a great flow. These are the last things I kind of need to do. And so in summary on this deck, right, that ChatGPT helped me do, and I'm going to show you how I did that. That's where I want to be in the bulk of my time, right? ChatGPT or any AI tool that's similar to this, it can help you with your presentations, right? As you move forward, you want to design your decks so they look visually appealing and they're not just words. You want to make sure that you've got no mistakes in there, and you want to look to see if anything is too sophisticated, right? You're speaking maybe too much in jargon. And then planning helps organize your ideas. So when you plan around who the audience is and what you want to communicate to them, what you want to leave, you're able to really deliver a much better presentation. And then the last one, ironically, the last one, practice makes you a better presenter. So I didn't present this particular deck a lot, right? I've worked more on the outside side of the tool, but I could have become a much better presenter if I had done that. So that's the deck, right? And I want to walk you through and show you how I did this. So let me switch back to my browser and come into ChatGPT. I'm not here to teach you the tool. I'm here to show you just how to use PowerPoint. So there's a whole bunch of other training on how to use ChatGPT or any other tool that's similar, but I just want to show you how I did what I did, right? And actually, let me come over here and escape that guy. And let me come back to this guy because I want to show you as I go along some of the stuff I did. Okay, so the first thing I did when I went into ChatGPT, and I did this on purpose, I didn't want to use any sophisticated prompts. What I'm trying to show you is what can you make this do when you're just using basic conversational stuff. When you practice at that level, then you can get more and more sophisticated. So think about Excel. If you just learn how to have two columns and then add to another column, that's good. You're using Excel. Then you get sophisticated with your formulas. Then you start using pivot tables, etc. Don't start with the most sophisticated functionality or feature in a tool like pivot tables in Excel or in ChatGPT. Don't get overly complex with the prompts. But that's what this is called. In purple is me, and in green, it's the AI tool. So in purple, my prompting to the tool is I'm just saying, hey, can you help me create a PowerPoint briefing deck? And I just wanted to see what it would say, but it was beautiful. First off, it's really friendly, right? Happy to help you do this. And then it starts giving me guidance. It says, please provide me with a topic you want to cover, right? As well as any specific points you want to do. And then let me know how many slides you want to have in there. Any other preferences. So it instantly is giving me guidance on what I can give back to it. And so this is what I put in next. I would like to teach people to use you, basically, right? To create a PowerPoint deck for their business. How can they use ChatGPT to create it? I'm not sure how many slides I want yet, right? I'm talking, I have fun being kind of casual, right? Probably one per prompt. If you give me suggested prompts, then I might sit there and say a slide in there, right? But the idea is to go from initial ideas to completed content. And so he or she, whatever AI is today, came back and said, great. Sounds like an informative and practical topic. First thing ChatGPT did was give me a reassuring tap on the back saying, good topic, Neil, let's work on it. And so first we're going to start off by outlining the main sections and steps you would cover in your presentation. So here's the suggested structure. And again, I'm going to move through this kind of fast because you just saw the other slides, but it started giving me slide 1, slide 2. So slide 1 is introduction. Slide 2 is overview of ChatGPT. And it gave me some interesting stuff, right? It gave me a suggested title. You'll notice that I revised the title to just creating a deck with ChatGPT. I didn't need any of the other stuff in there. And then as it went through, it gave me some other stuff, overview, and then getting started. And by the way, I didn't stay with this stuff, so don't bother reading it too much. But it's giving me these slides, which are giving me ideas, right? And it's saying in here, define the structure, describe the importance of defining a PowerPoint deck, and discuss some recommended stuff. So it's giving me some of this information. Let me scoot down now. So it did 10 slides, and then it said, okay, that's it. But let me tell you what I did next. I said, well, okay, so that outline was good, but can you add in 3 to 5 bullets for each one? Because what I noticed is that it was just giving me a couple and there was no consistency, right? And so I said, give me 3 to 5 bullets. I didn't ask it for anything else. All I said was, give me that same outline you just did, right? There might be a proper way of doing a prompt, but you can certainly do a prompt like this, where it's just casual conversation back. The tool is very sophisticated. So I said, add in 3 to 5 slides. So then as it starts coming down again, certainly very cooperative. Sometimes I have colleagues who are like, whatever, but not ChatGPT, always helpful. Okay, so slide 1, you start seeing there's this standard that is coming in. Here's an overview of ChatGPT. I use that one. Here's a getting started slide, by the way, accessing ChatGPT. I was like, you know what? I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. I'm not here to tell you how to get into the tool. I just want to show you how to use these prompts to get started. But I did start noticing, I'm like, whoa, ChatGPT, you're getting a little sophisticated here. Necessary account or API keys, it's a little bit much for me. So it gave me what I wanted, right? I still haven't got to the quality or necessarily the ideas in these bullets. Right now, it's just trying to give me an outline of the slides, slide 4, slide 5, et cetera, and then bullets that could go into each slide. So it's paying attention, and it looks like it's standardized on 3 bullets because I said 3 to 5. It said, I like 3. Lazy bum. But anyways, okay, so feel free to modify. So I came back and I said, hey, I'm looking at that, and it's a little too sophisticated. And there's a rule of thumb out there that the average person reads at a 3rd grade level, and the average Wall Street journalist, I think the average person reads at an 8th grade level, and the average Wall Street journalist writes at a 12th grade level. And it is what it is. This is about not dumbing things down, but making sure everybody can understand. And so what I said to it was, hey, do me a favor. I like that last thing you did, but just rewrite it in a way that any American 5th grader could read it. And basically, I should cover the entire professional world, right? And the reason I wanted that is I wanted to get away from, really big words that it was trying to show off how smart it is, or the vocabulary is so broad. And I was like, I want you to write this in a way that some people are familiar with SharePoint or PowerPoint and some are not. And so let's talk to everybody. And that's really what it means there. So then it comes back and it says, sure, here's a simplified outline, again, using that same set of bullets, but now I'm going to do it in 5th grade language, which was perfect. So when I start getting here, let me show this one really quick, the one I didn't like. Okay, right here. This is when I really got the idea that I needed to write to a 5th grader. It's saying, hey, ChatGPT is an advanced language developed by OpenAI. It's capable of generating human-like text. Like, no one would say that at a party. What do? I generate human-like text, right? I speak like a human, or I get it to speak like a human. Versatile applications, including PowerPoint content creation. Remember this and see what the rewrite did. All I said was, could you write it like a 5th grader for me? And apparently I'm a 5th grade level. I like that, right? And so what it came back was, instead of it's an AI thing, it just comes back and says it's a smart computer program. It can write things that sound like a human, and you can use it to make PowerPoint slides. And if I go over really quick and just show you the one that I did, so ChatGPT, right? It's showing a little computer icon. Is a smart computer program that can write things that sound like humans are writing it. You can use it to make PowerPoint slides. 3 most important bullets, right? And then it's got a couple of others, and you'll see where those came from. But these 3 were great, and I liked it because I'm like, oh, you popped right up. So let me scroll down here. So this content, as you keep coming down, it just kept refining it, right? What I wanted to do is just show you this next prompt, right? So then I said, let's increase this. You only gave me 3, but I really want 5 bullets per slide. And I said, all I said to it was, could you please increase it at 5 per slide? So now it is maintaining that, let me write this at a 5th grade level, but it's going to sit there and actually write it with 5 bullets. So it started coming in and doing 5 bullets in here. And by the way, certain things right here. So getting started and to use ChatGPT. I looked at that and I said, I don't want that. That's the whole step-by-step guide. So I left that out. But I did like this one. See where it says planning your presentation. Why is planning important? Let me just show you that one. I think it's this one. Why is planning important? I called it, why is planning important? because even though it says planning your presentation slide 4, I liked this for a title of my slide. And so then I had these bullets here. Let me go by really quick. I want to get to the next prompt because hopefully this makes sense, right? So I just guided it there. Now I said, hey, ChatGPT, can you help me create some graphics for these slides? And there's advanced functionality you can pay for that they'll actually do it. And so it comes back and says, sure, I can give you some help. Tell me what slides, etc. That you want to do. Let me know if you have any preferences. It's communicating back to me, right? And I said, take a stab at creating a graphic for slide 4 that captures that most important idea of planning. And then I said, I don't need a particular unique graphic for each. I'm just looking for one that kind of gives it that look. What I was looking for was this that you see, right? And so that's what I was telling it. So it came back, and I don't want to read this too much, but I want to read this beginning part. It's saying, if you want a professional looking graphic for slide 4, you can consider this outline. And so it began to tell me the outline. Here's a design you can use, a central circle, some outlining bullets. The main circle would have planning. You actually notice that I did that. And then connecting lines can flow through, right? So it gave you the ideas. And then it said, to create this graphic, you can use Canva or Adobe. I'm like, wait, man, I thought you could do it. And I actually said that to it. I thought ChatGPT could do this. It goes, nah, sorry for the confusion. I'm just a text tool. I can't do that. There are other ways of doing it, but in this free version, which is what I'm teaching you on, it doesn't do that. So anyways, it's talking to me and saying, I certainly can help you with the text content, not the graphic. And so when I read that, I went, let me give it another prompt. You told me to create a slide 4. And I wanted more specific directions. It gave me generic. I said, how do I do that in PowerPoint? Can you give me some step-by-step instructions? Because maybe I'm not familiar with PowerPoint. And it said, sure. For slide 4, for example, open up PowerPoint, go to the insert tab, right? Go to the illustration group and select shapes. And basically, it was giving me directions to come here to this illustration group, click on shapes and start pulling from here and creating this thing. I happen to know PowerPoint. I was like, that's too much for me. You know, you're making me work too hard. So it's giving me really detailed stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I said, hey, can you revise that guidance? I didn't even have to say guidance, right? Can you revise that last thing you just said based on smart art? And what I meant was, instead of coming here and trying to build the graphic you see, I wanted to come here and use this graphics, you know, so I've got a lot of different things I can choose from. And I wanted its advice. And so then it was able to come through and give me this revised step-by-step guide by going to the illustrations and going to smart art. And from there, it's recommending that you should consider using the radial or the cycle. I was like, okay, those are good ones to be looking at. Anyway, so I went through, it gave me the directions on how to do that. And that was the, let me come back here for a second. That was the end. One thing I will tell you, though, is that from this graphic, I began to get other ideas. Let me close this guy. And move forward. So the prompts that I used, I just showed you, it was 10. And some of those prompts were like this. Can you rewrite that last output? It was really so basic, right? Can you revise that last piece of advice based on smart art? I want to show you really quick, I'm watching the time here, but I want to show you 10 steps that I used to create this deck. And let me just present it so it's a little bigger. So, and I guess I could have built this up, but basically I went into PowerPoint, I created a new blank presentation, right? I populated the title slide with nothing special. So initially when I came in here to this, I just put this in a normal PowerPoint blank slide. And then I created a new slide for slide 4 because it gave me directions, right? And in there, I basically put the content in like this. I put it in for slide 4, and then I built it this way. So let me come back to this. And I know I'm bouncing back and forth, but it's a time thing. You can watch the replay. So I created that, and then I used this designer tool. This is the part I want to show you. So I used AI and ChatGPT to create the content, right? And when I was in here, if you come into design, really anytime you're building any slide, a designer thing will pop open. So hey, let me come back up here. My designer is turned off in the moment. I don't know why if I'm presenting. Could be because I'm presenting. Now, let me come down here. Well, okay, so I got to stay away from the designer at the moment, but I use this thing over here. It's called Designer. This is a live event, so I don't know why that's not working. But anyways, in Designer, it gave me all those colors, and all I did was select one, and it made it look the way you see. So when you look at any of these slides, every one of these slides was done by the designer. I'm in PowerPoint. I already put ChatGPT's title and words, and then I was able to just choose something that looked like this. PowerPoint automatically had it. The reason I'm telling you this is because combining ChatGPT and getting help on the content, and then coming over into PowerPoint, using the PowerPoint, the advantages of PowerPoint's designer activities. Again, this goes back to learning the skill to become good at this. I was able to build this, and where my focus was on was these topics. I was like, how do I want to display it? This one here, polishing and editing, I like this. It was like, do this, then this. I also liked this framework here where it was a flow. If you see these arrows, if I had taken time, I could have gone in and changed some of these colors on this box. I might have made them gray and just increasing levels of gray, whatever it is. Let me come back here to this one here. So then ChatGPT, by the way, it did these things. PowerPoint did these images. That was the cool thing. I didn't have to do it. The designer is smart enough to look at what you're saying and put it together. And then the rest of the slides, again, I made it look like number 4. I did some spelling checks on here, and then I practiced it. What I'm showing here, though, is 10 steps in PowerPoint to put it together. Let me back up for a second because I know it's a lot. This deck, I'm happy to share this deck with anybody who's on. If you say right now, share the deck, I'll send you a link to the deck so you can download it. But this deck has all the steps I've been talking about. So you can use that, follow it yourself, including the prompts. You can do the exact same thing, but these are the exact prompts that I used in ChatGPT. So you can use that yourself. Okay, so let me come over here really quick and just come back down. So today you saw a great finished looking presentation that the content was generated by the prompts that came out of ChatGPT. And what I was really trying to show you is the prompts can be very straightforward and simple. And then I showed you the steps on how to build the briefing deck in there. Again, this should be a 4-hour class. I'm shoving it into 25 minutes. So I'm happy to share the slides if you put in right now, because you're here live, put it in there, ask for the slide deck, and I'll send you the slide deck. And then keep in mind, by the way, if you want to learn more about ChatGPT and an AI in your business and how you can do that in a kind of a more done with me way, where I'm working with you on your own decks and something you want to build, then go check out www.govconchamber.ai, capital A, capital I, and you can look at our masterclass for AI and government contracting. If you're a sustaining member, you can get a 25% discount. Remember, government contracting, it is not a secret. It's just a process. Part of the process is ending on time. I'll see you next time.